Welcome back. I trust you had a beautiful meditation and received the benefits. I think it was back in the 90s, there was quite a craze of these, I guess you might call them visual puzzles. Um, you probably have seen them. It's a it's a graphic printed on a page, often very colorful and intricate and dynamic looking. And yet, if you stared at them for a sufficient period of time and trained your acuity, your visual field, trained your field of focus at a different level, an entirely different image would show up. Do you know what I'm talking about? If you don't, there you can go online and look it up. But I remember when those came out, and um, the group of friends that I ran around with then, they all seemed to be better at it than I did, and it just took me forever until they would be looking at these images one after the other, and they would go, "Oh my God," because it's a stunning. It was really stunning the first time that your visual perception adjusted or altered or transformed so that you could see the deeper image. It was um, really one of the most almost psychedelic, transformational aha experiences that you could have from a simple little puzzle. And I remember the first time that finally, after doing it, it was like, wow. And then the realization that that far deeper image was there all the time. And then I got a little better at it, and then it was the 90s, so we moved on to something else. Hey, baby, how are you? So the reason I'm saying that is whatever we're looking at right now is very much affected by time and space and all the objects in it. So I'm wondering if you'll practice a little, let's try a little experiment. Just look around your room, your living room or family room or wherever you're sitting, and focus, just find one object to look at, a chair, a lamp, a TV set, and simply stare at it for a moment. Notice its shape and its size. Really get into it, the shadow, the way it's positioned, the texture, the depth. I'm looking at my living room chair that I sit in to practice my instruments. Really take it in, really let your visual field be sucked in by that thing itself. Good, now blink a couple of times, and now look at the same object from a purely observational point of view. In other words, not the thing being observed, but notice that you just observe itself. Notice observation itself. Broaden your field. Note the observer that's always there, always taking it in, always perceiving. Now, let's come back. We might notice that we've always had an observer inside of us. It was there when we were 5 years old. And of course, that observer had the concerns and issues of a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, etc. You get the idea. But underneath the pictures that we're looking at, the details, the logistics, the concerns, the challenges, the fun, there's been this observer, and it is unmoved by what it's observing in the same way a movie screen is unencumbered or unhindered by the movies that play on it. Imagine if every movie screen was somehow affected by the movies that were on it. Every tearjerker would break its heart. Every action film would burn it to shreds. But this reminds us of the great line of the Bhagavad Gita that describes our true nature when it says, our true nature, wind can't blow it, fire can't burn it, water can't wet it, knives can't cut it. So we always have this observer going on with us, and it is not subject to time. It is drawn into time by what we look at. So our human lives are so compelling, so seductive, so sticky, so they draw us in so much that the observer gets sucked into what's being observed, and we're sucked into the process of observation itself, the body that we use to observe. And now when the pure observer gets sucked into the situation, we're drawn into time and space. And then we experience time passing, and we experience space as the distance between me and that chair over there. Once we're sucked into that game, it's the stickiest of all games in the universe. And there's almost no way out. But if we practice observation, just like those puzzles I talked about at the start, or that little process where we looked at something and then made a decision to change our visual field, and we see and feel and sense all of it at once, then we go timeless. We escape the prison of time. Now, what's interesting about this is when we do that, when we get still, then we are removed from time and space. We age less. The effects of age are far less impressive upon us. Now, you know some people who have been on the planet for a long time that are very much impinged by age. And then you know others who seem to be improved and strengthened by age. And this is the benefit of being a meditator and one who practices the presence and observation. When we get still, we don't age. And all of us watching this, we can simply declare for ourselves that as the result of our meditation, that time is our friend. We only get better with time. We only improve with age. We become stronger, healthier, more capable. And some people feel and think otherwise. Age is the great thing that's tearing them down, but they're sucked into the game so deeply that time does affect them. So I hope the discussion of time this week has been interesting, provocative, stimulating, but all it will ever be is right now, and all there will ever be is the observer inside of yourself watching the adventure. Okay, me and the Puma say have a beautiful day.